Two of the top three teams in the Cape League collide for the first of a home-and-home series tonight from Eldridge Park. It's the Orleans Firebirds and the YD Red Sox set to battle here from Eldridge. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brian McLaughlin, Andre Sims alongside Andre. These two teams come in second and third, respectively, in the East Division. YD 25 points. Orleans, amidst a three-game losing streak at 24 points. Should be a good couple of games here this weekend between the Red Sox and Firebirds.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it the other day, Brian, and that these two teams and Chatham are sort of emerging as the dominant powers that be in the Cape this season, the three best teams. The East is obviously the far deeper, the far more balanced, far more competitive of the two divisions on the Cape this season. And so these kind of games, and like we're kind of, as we enter past the early parts of the season, we're entering the meat, especially with all of these games being played day after day after day, where these are the swing games. Like a win here, a loss there, may not seem like much in context of right now, but as we approach the midway point, that'll start to come into play as we head towards the playoff picture.
Today, it's Legend Smith getting the spot started on the mound for YD, and Jared Schuster out of Lake Forest for the Orleans Firebirds. Schuster, fourth game started on the year for him. He has been really good, a 1.38 ERA. He's going up against a hot YD offense that leads the league in runs. Andre, on paper, a team that's struggled pitching in YD, an offense, however, that's gotten it really going. You think high-scoring game set here today at Eldridge Park, but the wind is whipping in straight from center field today. So we're not really sure what to expect from this one.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting, especially I think the other thing to consider, yes, it's obviously a very hot pitcher for Orleans and a very hot offense, but also this is going to end up being a bullpen game for YD, and that will really determine how this game fares for both sides, because in the past, YD has struggled when it's up to their bullpen to sort of platoon 4, 5, 6 guys in a game to get all 27 outs. We saw it most recently against Chatham, and it was disastrous. No one was effective in that game. Drew Swift and the position players seemed like they had the most success against the Chatham offense at that point. And so this is a very interesting matchup on paper. It really depends on how well this YD staff can handle bullpenning this game.
YD does have a couple new additions in the bullpen. Oscar Carvajal arriving today from Fresno State, and Gordon Ingebrigtsen is the returner for YD from UC Irvine. So a couple potential new arms there for the Red Sox. Offensively, how do these teams try to combat the conditions with the wind blowing straight in and already a massive ballpark, especially to center field and the alleys?
Yeah, I really think it comes down to small ball. We're going to see a lot more hit and runs, moving the runners, getting them in motion, some bunts. We've seen Scott Pickler try to utilize the squeeze and bunts. Hasn't had a ton of success with actually getting them down, but he's certainly shown that he's comfortable with calling them in any situation, whether it be to try to get in a run or simply just to move a couple runners up. In a game like this where the long ball not necessarily going to be in play, as you said, the wind whipping in from center field, one run means a lot. This doesn't seem like it has the billing of a 10-9 game. It feels more in that 2-1, 3-2 range, in which case, at any given point, even if it's in the second inning, you feel like small ball is really going to come into play.
We'll step aside for just a moment here from Eldridge Park. First pitch in the starting lineups coming up next. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Back at Eldridge Park, we are set to begin the top of the first inning. The lefty Jared Schuster from Wake Forest is on the mound for the Firebirds. Fourth start of the season for Schuster. For Orleans, the 1.38 ERA in 13 innings on the mound, 13 strikeouts and 4 walks. He has been one of the better starters on this Orleans staff. You can probably hear it. It's a windy one here in Orleans, wind whipping straight in from center field today. So, some conditions that seem to favor those on the mound. Here's the YD lineup for tonight's action against Schuster. Wyatt Young remains a mainstay in the leadoff spot for YD. He's the shortstop from Pepperdine with an 8-game hitting streak. Noah Campbell, the switch hitter, bats second. Austin Wells stays in the 3-hole. He leads the league with 5 home runs. Riley King back in the cleanup spot at third base. Brad Beasley in center tonight, batting 5th from Cal Poly. Tate Samuelson back at first, another Cal Poly man batting 6th. Andrew Eister bats 7th. He's from South Carolina in left field. Jake Palmer bats 8th from UC Irvine in right, and Gavin Dugas rounds out the order out of LSU. He's at second base tonight for YD. Lefty to get us started. Wyatt Young in the road red tops for the Red Sox. White pants with a red stripe down the sides. Orleans in their home white uniforms with black sleeves. Red numbers for the Redbirds. Schuster from the windup, right in the middle of the rubber. Winds, first pitch to Young. Fastball buzzes him high and tight for ball 1. Young has been red hot, leading the league in hitting, .389 amidst his 8-game hitting streak. The 1-0. Fastball, this time it just misses low. 2 balls and no strikes to Young. Here's the 2-0. Fastball, this one finds the strike zone. It's a called strike. 2 balls and a strike now to Young. 5'7", 165 in the batter's box. Chokes up on the bat. Schuster 6'3", 210 out on the hill. Here's the 2-1. Off speed, this time it misses high. 3 balls and a strike. Schuster with only 4 walks on the season. An early 3-ball count here to Wyatt Young. Campbell on deck. He'll bat from the right side against the lefty. Here's the 3-1 to Young. Fastball just catches the top edge of the strike zone. Young was ready to hop down to first. Thought it might have missed for ball 4. Instead, it's a full count. Nobody out, bases clear, top of the first. Here's the payoff from Schuster. Foul tip in and out of the glove of Rob Emery behind the plate for the Firebirds. We'll see another 3-2. Crowd starting to file in nicely here in Orleans. Filling up the hill behind the Firebirds dugout up the first base line. Another 3-2 on its way. Young fouls it off back over the road that's directly behind our heads up the third base side. Out of play. We'll see another 3-2. 8th pitch upcoming here to Young. This is all he's done at the top of the order for YD. Sees a lot of pitches, sets the table. Here's another 3-2. Fastball hit on the ground right side. Soretti, the second baseman, fields to his left, sidearms to first, and they retire Wyatt Young for the first out here in the top of the first inning. Defense for the Firebirds, Max Troiani in left field. Jacob Hurtubise, the former Harwich Mariner, is in center field. Zach Britton is in right. Tanner Murray at third. Eddie McCabe is the shortstop. Danny Soretti, who just made the first out, at second. And the big power hitter, Ray Gill, at first base. Rob Emery does the catching to complete the battery with Schuster today. First pitch off speed, a called strike to Noah Campbell down the middle, and it's 0-1. Campbell hitting .333 from the right side today against the Southpaw. The 0-1. Cut on and missed by Campbell, late on the fastball, and it's quickly 0-2. Even stance, now the 0-2 pitch. Popped foul out of play from Campbell. We'll see another 0-2 from Schuster. Working quickly on the mound here early. Part of a pretty tough stretch here for the Firebirds. Another 0-2. Off speed misses away, a ball and 2 strikes. Orleans has lost 3 straight coming in. They led Chatham and YD entering play 3 days ago. Another 0-2. misses high and away. Rather, that was the 1-2. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. But YD has reeled off a couple straight wins before a loss yesterday, and Chatham also getting hot. The 2-2 just down low to Campbell, and the count is full. Back-to-back full counts from Schuster on the mound to Wyatt Young and now Campbell. The 3-2 to Campbell. Popped up, shallow center field. Soretti going back on at the second baseman. Incoming Hurtubise in center, but it's Soretti to make the catch in shallow right. Quick 2 outs for the Red Sox, and now Austin Wells with 2 down and the bases clear. Red Sox trail Chatham by just a game in the Eastern Division standings, 2 points. First pitch on its way to Wells. Cut on and missed. Fastball up in the zone, 0-1. Wells, one of the most elite power hitters here on the Cape through the first half of the season. The 0-1. Breaking ball catches the inner half. Strike 2 from Schuster. Schuster working quickly. Winds. Now the 0-2 to Wells. Fastball called strike 3. Jared Schuster makes short work of the top of the YD order in the first. They go down in order, 1, 2, 3. Home half of the first. Coming up next, this is Red Sox baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the first, scoreless between Orleans and YD. Orleans getting their first licks against Legend Smith, the lefty from Oklahoma, making his first start, 5th appearance for the Red Sox, an 11.81 ERA in those 4 times out on the mound, just 5 1/3 innings pitched, getting a spot start. Ian Seymour was scheduled to start today for the Red Sox, but he was scratched because a little under the weather today. So Smith getting the spot start against this Firebirds team that is really scuffling. Here's the lineup for Orleans. Jacob Hurtubise leads it off. 2 for 5 as a Firebird. He's in center field. Danny Soretti, the UNC Tar Heel switch hitter, batting second. Max Troiani from Bentley in the 3 spot. He's hitting .313. Ray Gill with 3 home runs is in the cleanup role out of Miami. Zach Britton from Louisville bats 5th. Eddie McCabe is the shortstop in the 6 hole. Tanner Murray out of UC Davis bats 7th. He has 1 home run this season. Shea Whitcomb out of UC San Diego bats 8th. He's the designated hitter. And the catcher, Rob Emery, rounds out the order from San Francisco here for the Firebirds today against Legend Smith on the mound. YD went down in order 1, 2, 3 in a very quick top of the first inning from Jared Schuster on the mound. Hurtubise, Soretti, and Troiani set to face the lefty Smith from Oklahoma tonight in the bottom of the first. Brian McLaughlin and Andre Sims here. Legend Smith gets on the rubber. Lefty here against Hurtubise. First pitch is on its way. It's a fastball that misses down low for ball 1 from Smith.
The start will be imperative here for Legend Smith. He's got to get comfortable out there on the mound starting, not something he's used to doing.
1-0 misses down low. Hurtubise squared the bunt, but he pulled it back. 2 balls, no strikes.
So he's got to get comfortable quickly. One of the issues that this YD team faces in these games, especially when it gets to their bullpen early, or in this case, really just bullpenning the entire game,
2-0 notches the outer edge for a called strike.
is simply that they never settle in. They're forced to get success right away. They can't. The early walks, early hit by pitches, 2 out hits.
2-1 fouled off up the third baseline and out of play. It's 2-2.
And so all of a sudden, what could be a very easy 1-2-3 inning, now all of a sudden you're sending 5, 6, 7 hitters to the plate, and it is very, very hard for them to settle in and get themselves in a rhythm.
The 2-2 pitch. Line drive through the left side of the infield for a leadoff single. Jacob Hurtubise splits the shortstop Young and the third baseman King for a leadoff knock in the first for the Firebirds. Let's meet that Red Sox defense. In the outfield, it's Andrew Eister in left, Brad Beasley roams center field, and Jake Palmer is in right. Riley King at the hot corner, Wyatt Young still the shortstop for YD. Gavin Dugas gets the start at second, and Tate Samuelson holding on. Hurtubise at first. Austin Wells does the catching today for Legend Smith, who's now out of the stretch against Danny Soretti. Soretti squares the bunt. It's a first pitch breaking ball that misses down and inside. A ball and no strikes. Soretti, the switch hitter from North Carolina, hitting from the right side against Smith. He's hitting .259 for the Firebirds. Hurtubise a pretty big lead over there at first, held by Samuelson. Smith brings the 1-0. Nope, time called at home plate.
I mean, it's literally like all the good teams have 2 stars, which is crazy. But there's no team like that. I can't think of it. I mean, if you want to say
Smith sets again.
Warriors, but like,
Here's the pitch. Misses down low. 2 balls and no strikes to Soretti.
And a lot of people say they're getting paid.
Wind still blowing in here. There is a threat of rain this evening. Starting a little later. The 2-0. Hit on the ground left side. Right at the shortstop, Wyatt Young. Shovels to second one. Dugas to first. Not picked by Samuelson. Soretti was slowing up down that first baseline, but he reaches after the throw from Dugas was in the dirt. Samuelson got his glove to it, but couldn't pick it cleanly. So 1 out on the fielder's choice. Soretti reaches for the Firebirds.
And that's the other problem that has definitely contributed to some of the pitching struggles this season, especially of late for YD, is the errors. We saw a couple costly ones yesterday in the game against Brewster. I believe the total was 5 unearned runs of the 11 for Brewster in that one. So that's something you can't have. It's really hard to win games when your defense is letting you down, especially when you're giving up. 1, you can get away with. 2, probably that as well. 5, that's really hard to work around.
5 unearned runs yesterday against Brewster. We're scoreless here in the bottom of the first. The batter's Max Troiani. It's a ball and no strikes to him. The pitch, line drive, left center field. Brad Beasley racing over. It's down in front of him. Troiani, a sharp single into left center, and there's men on first and second now for the Firebirds. Quite the cheering section here for Troiani.
And for the Firebirds, the first baseman for Miami, number 44, Raymond Gill.
Gill now to the plate. 1 out, men on first and second for Orleans. Gill, 3 home runs, 3 doubles. The big first baseman has really slugged his way so far for Orleans this season. Looking to strike first here against the Red Sox. Smith deals to Gill. Breaking ball bounced again left side. Young will charge the shortstop. Dugas has it at second and throw to first. This time they get him at first. 6-4-3 double play. Rolled by Young and Dugas up the middle. Ends the threat for Orleans in the first. Scoreless. After 1, the Firebirds strand 1 in their half. Red Sox have the meat of their order. King, Beasley, Samuelson coming up when we return here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the second, back in Orleans. It's 0-0 between the Red Sox and Firebirds. Both pitchers were able to work scoreless first innings. It was a 1-2-3 for Jared Schuster of Orleans in his half of the first. Legend Smith for the Red Sox had a little bit more trouble in his half, but was able to get a double play to end it. Riley King leads off for YD as we begin the second here against Schuster. First pitch on its way. It's a called strike knee high to King. King hitting .325 for the Red Sox, the Georgia man. From the right side, nubs the 1-0 down the first baseline. That's a fair ball inside the bag. King, hard turnaround first, but he throws on the brakes as he rounded first base. A softly hit ball snuck between Gill and the first base bag right off the end of King's bat, and it's a leadoff single for YD here in the second. Beasley to the plate now. Fifth man in the order for the Red Sox. King aboard first base with nobody down here in the second. Beasley hitting .179 on the season, but feels like he's really starting to swing it at the plate. Most recently hit a massive 2-run home run to tie a game against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. First pitch, a called strike on a fastball from Schuster to Beasley. 0-1. Schuster from the stretch for the first time. Checks on King at first. He's back with 2 strides.
Looks like Gill over there is laboring just a touch. He's definitely taken some inventory there, stretching out his, looks to be his right leg.
The 0-1. Misses down low to Beasley, a ball and a strike. Gill was scratched from the Orleans lineup yesterday due to an injury. Was initially in there, and that was the question today, whether Ray would play once again down there at first for the Firebirds. He's in the lineup, but he bounced into a double play and is only at bat in the first. 1-1 to Beasley. Skied, shallow right field. Britton, the right fielder, over to his left towards the line. He's there to make the catch on the high pop out from Brad Beasley. There's the first out of the second for Schuster on the hill. 1 down, still King at first. Definitely something to follow. Ray Gill has been one of the hottest hitters for this Firebirds team. He can stay in the game and how healthy and how full strength he is. Tate Samuelson to the plate for YD. A .242 hitter with 1 home run. Another check on first from Schuster. King's back again in time. Lights are on here at Eldridge, mostly thanks to the pretty heavy cloud cover we've got tonight. Schuster deals to Samuelson. Over the top of a changeup. He swings and misses at the first pitch. 0-1. A few days ago, Samuelson, scary moment in Hyannis, got hit with the pitch around the left ear flap eye area of his helmet. The 0-1. Fastball catches the inner edge to Samuelson. It's 0-2. And knocked Tate from the game. Had a little bruising in the area, not a full black eye. Still a little bit swollen over there, but he's fine. Back in the lineup after day off. Another check on first. King is back safely. 0-2 to Samuelson. 0-0, top of the second. Samuelson from Cal Poly. The 0-2 misses up at his eyes on a fastball. A ball and 2 strikes. Samuelson, 5 long balls on the season for Cal Poly. 1 this year for YD. Hits the 1-2 in the air, shallow left field, coming over Max Troiani. Now it's the center fielder Hurtubise to make the call and the catch. Calling off Troiani. Back-to-back flyouts from the Red Sox offense. And with 2 outs, it's Andrew Eister. King remains on first after his leadoff single.
And there it is on display. Anything in the air is getting absolutely killed by the wind that's blowing in, and that one just kind of held up there for Hurtubise in center.
Andrew Eister to the plate. He's really slumping after probably the hottest start of any hitter in the Cape League. Cuts and misses at a first pitch breaking ball, 0-1. Eister jumped out to the league lead in home runs with 3. Was hitting up above 400 for the first week or 2 of the season. Just hitting a cold patch. 283 right now. Still the 3 long balls. The 0-1. Cut on and missed again by Eyster, and Schuster up 0-2 now. We know Eyster can hit. He led the South Carolina Gamecocks this spring in hitting above 300. From the right side against the lefty Schuster. From the stretch, King leads from first. The 0-2. Fastball just misses inside. Orleans ready to explode. Thought they'd caught Eyster looking. 0-0 top of the second. King a few steps off first, hands just above his knees. A ball and 2 strikes. The pitch to Eyster. Breaking ball misses in the dirt. It's blocked by Emery behind the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Eyster. .30 pitches for Schuster. A strike away from getting out of the second. Whitey looks to extend the frame. Here's the 2-2 to Eyster. Awkward swing. He did go around on a fastball up, probably above the zone for strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Schuster. Both ended inning. We're through 1.5. What YD leaves 1 in the second, scoreless between the Red Sox and the Firebirds. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the second inning, Legend Smith back at to face Britton, McCabe, and Murray. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Orleans here in the second. 0-0 between the Red Sox and Firebirds. Legend winds. First pitch to Britton. Misses up. Ball 1. Britton, the outfielder from Louisville, hitting .267 for the Firebirds. Lefty here against Smith. Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball right down the middle for strike 1. 1-1 from Smith. It will be interesting to see how long Scott Pickler elects to stick with Smith, normally a bullpen man. The 1-1. Breaking ball skips in the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. Two and 1 to Britton. Here's the pitch. Cut on and missed. That's a fastball from Legend on the mound. I'm going to just keep saying Legend as much as possible, I think, today. Such a great first name for the Oklahoma man out on the hill. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Time called at home plate. John Torres, the home plate umpire. Warren Nicholson at first base and Federico De Jesus at third. The 2-2 from Smith. Fastball called strike 3. Backwards K sits down Britton. It's the first strikeout of the day for Legend Smith on the mound. An exemplary fastball catches the low and outside corner to Britton for the first out here in the second. First pitch misses to Eddie McCabe, the shortstop from Georgetown. McCabe hitting .250. Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball. Called strike. 1-1 now from Smith. The 1-1. Flared, first base side, over for Samuelson. Near the fence, he slides. He crashes into the wall. He doesn't make the catch. Almost a web jam from Tate Samuelson, laying it on the line down the first base line. Just came up short on the slide. Now McCabe down in the count 1-2. The 1-2 to McCabe. Fastball hit in the air pretty solidly right field. Palmer going back on it towards the right field corner. He makes the running catch. Jake Palmer showing off good range, ran it down, ended up crossing over the foul line right as the ball fell into the webbing of his glove. It's a loud second out from McCabe here in the bottom of the second.
Jake Palmer's playing with a lot of confidence right now. It's something we didn't see from him early on, kind of platooning here and there, not getting consistent game time. Now he is, as he's playing well, having a very successful last few games at the plate, and they're showing off the range, going well from – he's really in true right field, then go all the way into foul territory there to make that grab.
First pitch to Tanner Murray in the air again to right field. Palmer this time racing in, also towards the line, and he makes the catch. A 1-2-3 mythical second for Legends. We're scoreless through 2 here at Eldridge Park in Orleans. We'll be back for the top of the third. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Top of the third inning here, and Jake Palmer set to lead things off after an impressive catch. 2 outs recorded in the last half inning. 8, 9, and 1 for YD in the visitors' half of the third inning. They've gotten to Jared Schuster on the mound, but to no actual success. His pitch count has been driven up in these first 2 innings, but yet still zeros on the scoreboard. Lights are on here at Eldridge Park. Palmer squares to bunt, but pushes it foul. Lights are on here as the sun begins to set. It's a slightly overcast sky here. Some pockets of blue if you look around. On a very muggy day here in Orleans, Massachusetts. Here's the 1-1 to Palmer. It's a breaking ball that drops in at the knees, and that's a called strike 1-2. Schuster already up to 35 pitches on the day through 2+ innings. Chopped foul. Palmer spoiled it. Kept his hands back well on that one, and still 1-2.
Yeah, he saw the breaking ball and just kind of threw the bat at it. Palmer, really a fastball hitter, going to go after any heater. I think the breaking balls he tends to lay off, or just generally like that one. Foul it off, stay alive, live to see another day, and really tries to drive the fastball.
1-2 misses, and the count evens at 2-2. Palmer in his last few games has seen the average climb up to 278, and the on-base percentage well over 400 after a 5-plate appearance game a few games ago, as he is down swinging on the off-speed pitch, and that's the first out of the inning. Third strikeout for Schuster here through 2 1/3 inning, and The 9-hole hitter Gavin Dugas now steps in, the LSU second baseman. First pitch swinging is Dugas, and he waves and misses. It's 0-1. Dugas now steps back in. The 0-1. Fastball off the outer edge, and it's 1-1. Cape League's leading hitter, Wyatt Young, waits on deck. 1-1. Good changeup there from Schuster, and it's 1-2. Still 0-0 our scores. The 1-2 now to Dugas, and that one skips a few feet in front of home plate, and count evens at 2. YD entering the game 12-7-1. That one skied foul. Ray Gill ranging over. And he'll make the catch in foul territory for the second out of the inning.
Schuster really effective right now on the mound. He's in the zone, working quickly, mix and matching the pitches. So the pitch count is up there a little. Whitey's been patient with him, seeing a lot of pitches, but they really haven't squared one up yet on him. He's doing a good job. They're definitely off balance first time through the order. Second look here for Young.
Wyatt Young had one of those long at-bats that Brian was talking about. Working the count full, fouling a couple pitches off before ultimately grounding out to second base. First pitch to him is downstairs, and it's 1-0. Should Young extend the inning, the dangerous Noah Campbell waits on deck. Here's the 1-0. High and tight. Wyatt Young ducks out of the way of it, and it's 2-0. Wyatt Young just quietly going about his business, continuing to perform. And he looks at a called strike, and it's 2-1. Schuster's been able to work around a base runner in the second. That one grounded just foul down the third base line, and it's still 2-1. So far, YD has had good success against this Orleans team here in the summer of 2019. That one all the way back to the backstop high, and it's 3-1. Wyatt Young standing at the plate at 5'7". That one came in at about 6'7".
Yeah, that was even Wyatt Young, who likes the fastball up in the zone, wasn't going after that guy.
Full count here. So that one skied off to the right and out of play. That'll head towards the street. And we'll do it again.
This is where Young really battles. He can hit every pitch that a pitcher throws, just really is able to go to work with 2 strikes and such a good contact hitter.
Naturally chokes up on the bat just in any count. And now the full count offering is popped up just in the outfield grass. Soretti will go out, and he'll make the play in shallow right center field, and that'll end the inning. So that'll be Schuster's second 1-2-3 of the game. He's through 3 very quick innings. We head to the bottom of the third. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the third inning.
Leading off the Firebirds, designated hitter from UC
8, 9, and 1 for Orleans. Shea Whitcomb will step in. Torero out of the University of California, San Diego, not to be confused with San Diego State. Open stance from the right side against the lefty Smith. First pitch on its way, and it's a called strike on the fastball, and it's 0-1. Smith so far has pitched well, ran into a little bit of trouble in the first, but got around it. That one's chopped off the foot of Whitcomb at the plate, and it's 0-2. Smith only at 22 pitches through 2 innings. That last pitch was his 23rd. Whitcomb at just 200 on the year. Here's the 0-2. High and wide, Wells catches it with a spin move. Wind now beginning to pick up once again. It'll be a bit of a cat and mouse game with the weather tonight. Rain expected in the forecast, but it's a matter of when and how much we'll get.
Really dark clouds off above the hill to our right at the moment. We know we are right on the border of just rain coming down on us, but we don't know if it'll hit us, stay north, or what.
1-2 is once again fired in high, and it's 2-2. Of course, the last time that these two teams met here in Orleans, there was the brief but mighty downpour. Only lasted about 10 minutes, but it was enough for a delay and enough to get us off the air, as that one's absolutely skied. That'll get up and out of play and into the trees that line the street just behind Eldridge Park.
Been about a week since we pulled out the meteorologist cap.
We've had good weather over the past week, and thankfully, as I'm sure all involved with the Cape League are happy to see a week's worth of sunshine. 2-2 is a fastball over the outer half, and that's a called strike 3. Shea Whitcomb goes down looking. So now Rob Emery will step in out of the University of San Francisco. But you're right, Brian. If you look off to our right, we're positioned just to the left of home plate, and anything that direction just looks incredibly ominous.
Yeah, it's raining over there.
First pitch to Emery is a called strike on an off-speed pitch, and it's 0-1.
The hope is that it does not come here. I mean, I'm looking on the radar right now, and you can see it is pouring on the northern part of the Cape.
Half swing there from Emery as he was late on the off-speed pitch, and it's quickly 0-2. The 0-2 from Smith. That one just off the outer half. It was a pitcher's pitch. And it's 1-2. One, two, and it's another strikeout for Legend Smith. He's got back-to-back strikeouts to begin the third, and there are 2 down.
Legend Smith settling in here after what was a bit of a rocky first, a couple of hits given up in that first inning, but double play got out of it. Set down now 6 straight batters and has really started to settle in here on the mound in his first start.
First pitch is a called strike to the leadoff man, Jacob Hurtubise, and it's 0-1. Smith coming off his worst pitching performance of the Cape League season as he delivers a fastball in at the knees for a called strike 2. That game, really no one on YD performed well. Smith took the brunt of it, 2 2/3, 5 runs, all of them earned. Hurtubise chops one on a little excuse me swing on a ball down in the dirt.
I think that bounced off the dirt before it got his bat. I think that was
A little Vlad Guerrero-esque there
Vladdy
from
Senior special.
Jacob Hurtubise. I believe Pablo Sandoval also took one off the dirt.
Javier Baez does it now and again for the Cubbies right now.
It is
Coming.
It is getting dark here in Orleans as these These are some of the darkest clouds that I have seen this summer.
It is. It's dark over the right field, really right field now over the first baseline.
Chopped foul, and the count remains 0-2. But it is a noticeable difference between how light the field was about 5 minutes ago versus now.
You look back behind us to our left, you can still see a little blue sky. And there's even some clear skies on the other side of things. On the other side of these really dark clouds we can just see.
Wind picking up as that one is skipped in for a ball, 1-2. Ourselves and the Orleans broadcasters to our right.
It's going to rain.
Orleans broadcasters and I are getting ready to cover all of our precious equipment as that one is Smith. And we will head to the top of the fourth inning. 0-0 is our score still. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the fourth inning here. 2, 3, and 4 for the Red Sox. Noah Campbell, Austin Wells, and Riley King set to take their hacks second time through the order against Jared Schuster. First pitch to Campbell's off-speed pitch in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Schuster has been very effective, although the pitch count beginning to climb. Campbell batting from the right side, chops it at the plate, foul. It's 0-2. Lights taking more of an effect as the 0-2 to Campbell's just outside. And it's 1-2. Campbell batting from the right side, switch hitter. Lefty-righty matchup here. Schuster will step off. 1-2 is just below the knees, and it's 2-2. Campbell at .333 on the season. Scored 12 runs, driven in 10 other ones. As that one, he swings over the top of an off-speed pitch. Emery will apply the tag to complete the strikeout, and that's the first out of the inning. So now Austin Wells will step in. He will flatten out the dirt and get him to his liking there in the left-hander's batter's box. Wells talking to other catcher Rob Emery. As they step back in, home plate umpire John Torres gets back behind the dish. Schuster out of the windup where he's been for the majority of this game. That one's a breaking ball that's low, and it's 1-0. Riley King taking his warm-up, hacks on deck. Austin Wells waiting. Schuster working quickly, and that's a fastball in there for a called strike. And the count evens at 1-1. Just 3 total hits in this one. 1 for YD, 2 for Orleans. As both pitchers have done well early, and it's 2-1 to Austin Wells.
It's been the hitters who've been hot as of late for these two teams, but today the pitchers are both looking really smooth through 3.
Fastball runs high, and it's 3-1. So the 3-1 offering. Big swing and a miss from Austin Wells at the plate. The count runs full.
He knows he's got to really get a hold of one if he wants to push it anywhere in the air against this wind. Now probably blowing more right to left than straight in.
Here's the payoff pitch. That one's roped on a line, but right at Eddie McCabe at shortstop, and that's the second hit out of the inning.
Bad luck there for Wells. He absolutely crushed that baseball on a line. Just McCabe had to move one step to his left before he made the easy catch for the second out.
Riley King now steps in. He's the man who has the lone hit for YD in this one. First pitch to him is a called strike, and it's 0-1. Now the count to Riley King. The Georgia Bulldog takes a swing, and it's grounded to short. McCabe Ober bobbles it a bit, recovers. The long throw is just in time. Warren Nicholson took a second, but then made the out call. And once again, the Red Sox go down in order. We're through 3.5 here, and you're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 4th inning. The man, the myth, the legend Smith back out for his 4th inning of work. He's pitched well thus far, only allowing 2 hits. First pitch to Soretti is a breaking ball spun in there, and Smith steals strike 1. And Brian, I will say, in Legend Smith's outing thus far this season, I think this is the most and the most effectively we've seen him attack hitters early.
No question. He's using his curveball really effectively, and the fastball command is there for sure from Legend out there on the mound right now. He's, since the 1st inning, really settled in nicely and using a lot of his pitches to good effect.
0-2 now the count to Soretti. 2, 3, and 4. As the 0-2 pitch is skipped in the dirt, and it's 1-2. Soretti at .259 this season for the Firebirds. The 1-2 from Smith. Fouled back and out of play, and we'll do it again. Soretti steps back in now. That one's chopped on the ground. Riley King will come in, fields it on a hop. The strong throw across the diamond is in time for the first out of the frame. the Legend Smith and his counterpart Jared Schuster, two lefties that are cruising in this one.
Both are working really similarly as well. It's not overpowering stuff with a ton of strikeouts, just pitching to contact, and nobody's really squaring them up to this point.
Max Troiani now steps in, one of the best hitters on Cape Cod this season. The Bentley outfielder playing in left tonight. 0-1 to Troiani. Smith delivers. And a half swing there for Troiani as he waves over the top of the breaking ball in the dirt, and 0-2.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
1-1 the count.
I wrote about it.
Fouled away, and it's still 0-2. Troiani, very, very dangerous here. The 0-2 is a fastball pumped high. Troiani awaits the offering from Legend Smith. Here's the pitch. Waved and missed at the fastball high. That one's in there for a strikeout. Fourth strikeout of the day for Legend Smith.
He's now sat down 9 straight men on the mound. He has figured it out. Ever since that 6-4-3 double play to end the first inning off the bat of Ray Gill, he has really had this Orleans team struggling and guessing up there.
So, pinch hitter now.
Zach Daniels, I think, going to be the pinch hitter for the Firebirds here for Gill, who we knew was banged up.
So now Daniels will replace Gill, who, as you said, Brian, was clearly laboring just a bit, tried to go, gave it his all, but ultimately unable to continue now. First pitch to Daniels. It's a called strike. 1-1 now the count to the Tennessee Volunteer. Big athletic frame, batting from the right side. As my partner Brian McLaughlin said, could be a football player.
He was the best wide receiver of the Kalamazoo Growlers last summer in the Northwoods League, catching passes from Barron Radcliffe, now the Falmouth Commodore. Those two were quite the duo. Zach's just a monster athlete.
Big swing and a miss from Daniels at the plate. Now it's 2 strikes.
You can see the bat speed right there. Just when he connects, he hits the baseball as far as I've seen it. If anyone can challenge 434 of this Orleans team, I think it would be Daniels.
2-strike offering. That one's high. And it's a full count.
But he does swing and miss often, and that can be the potential dangers for Daniels. He's a high strikeout potential.
2 out runs continue to be the Achilles heel of this pitching staff, so this is a crucial pitch for Legend Smith. And here it comes. Big swing and a miss, and he got him on the breaking ball. And that'll end the inning. So far, so good for Legend Smith on the mound. He's through 4 shutout innings. The Red Sox and the Orleans Firebirds tied at 0 here. We head to the 5th on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Top of the 5th inning back here at Eldridge Park. It's Brad Beasley to lead off for the Red Sox, then Samuelson and Eister due up for YD. 3 righties to face the southpaw Jared Schuster for his 5th inning on the hill. First pitch to Beasley, driven in the air, pretty deep down the left field line. Racing back on it is Troiani into the corner, and he's able to make the catch down the line. Lost sight of Troiani as he tracked it deep to the warning track into the left field corner. Beasley gave it a ride, but it's a loud first out here in the 5th.
Beasley, another one of those players for YD that struggled offensively in the early parts of the season, but is swinging a very hot bat of late. We see him driving the ball more power.
First pitch to Tate Samuelson, back-to-back first pitch swinging. This one's lifted casually to right field where Britton settles underneath it for a very fast first 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning on just 2 pitches. Both Beasley and Samuelson are retired. Didn't even let us catch our breath. That's now 11 straight set down for Schuster on the mound. 2 outs. That brings up Andrew Eister. He struck out swinging against Schuster in the 2nd. YD is 1 hit off Schuster and now 4 2/3 on the mound. First pitch to Eister, taken, misses away. So they avoid the 3-pitch inning.
And as one of the unwritten baseball rules, if the 2 guys in front of you record outs on the first pitch of their at-bats, you have to take.
The 1-0 misses low. 2 balls, no strikes to Eister. It has been a pitcher's duel here at Orleans. We're not sure how long this one's going to last. Rain is looming. According to the weather app, we have about 45 minutes. 2-0 misses low to Eister. That's 3 balls and no strikes. Our eyes tell us something different as there's clouds all around. Trying to get at least through 5 here, but there's no separation to this point between the Firebirds and Red Sox. 3-0 to Eister, fouled straight back. He had the green light, sent it to the netting right behind home plate. 3-1. That shows the type of power I think Eister has, knowing that one swing of the bat, the team 3-1, fouled back and out of play, and Schuster's worked it full against Eister. Small raindrops starting to fall just a bit here at Eldridge Park. Nothing too major at this point. Eister digs back in. Schuster from the windup. The 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Notches the inner edge. 12 straight set down from Schuster on the mound. We're through 4.5. Still scoreless between YD and Orleans. Legend Smith might be back out. He is back out as we are set to begin the bottom half of the 5th. 0-0. Bottom 5 here in Orleans. Bottom of the 5th inning, still Legend Smith out on the mound. The story building for Smith here as he begins his 5th inning of scoreless work. It's Britton, McCabe, and Murray here in the 5th for the Firebirds. First pitch to the lefty, Britton misses inside, 1-0. Britton struck out looking in the 2nd inning against Smith. Legend from the windup delivers the 1-0. Again, misses high and tight to Britton. This time the fastball. 2 balls and no strikes. Clouds have now shifted the darkest ones over into left center. Here's the 2-0. Britton pops it up, shallow on the infield. Austin Wells in foul territory. The catcher calls, and he squeezes it with both hands. A soft pop out from Britton, and these pitchers are just going back and forth now. That's 11 straight set down from Britton. On the other side, Schuster has set down 12 straight. Scoreless here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, it is an absolute pitcher's duel. Good old-fashioned go out and get them. Neither offense can really do anything in this one.
Now Eddie McCabe, the righty, he flew out to right field in his only other time against Legend Smith today. First pitch, misses low, 1-0. Smith brings the 1-0 pitch, skips down in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes to McCabe. Orleans, no stranger to the pitcher's duel. They have 5 shutouts this season to lead the league. YD just 1 shutout. The 2-0 to McCabe. Fastball hit in the air, pretty deep right field, going back on to Jake Palmer, over towards the line. Now he settles underneath, he'll have room, and he makes the catch. 2 outs now from Legend Smith here, as that was a big raindrop.
Yes.
Let's put up the umbrella here, Andre. 2 outs. The rain really starting to fall now. We need 1 more out for an official game. Starting to fall. Both McCabe and Britton are retired. This is Tanner Murray. First pitch misses down and inside. The fans are scattering. The Firebirds are on the top step of the dugout. The 1-0 pitch misses away. Everybody is scattering. 2 balls and no strikes. Time is called. Now looks like we're going into a rain delay. Maybe. Tanner Murray wants to hit. Smith wants to pitch. Time was called by Torres before the pitch. Now the conversation. Kelly Nicholson and Pick both are out of their dugouts. We need 1 more out for an official game. It's supposed to be scattered thunderstorms all day. Both Pick and Nicholson out of the dugouts. And now the rain is slowing. Is it just me or is it slowing down here? We're going to keep playing.
It is definitely slowed down.
We're going to keep playing. That's right. Let's play. Let's play.
We are 1 out away, people.
Need 1 for an official game. Legend Smith back out on the mound. It's a 2-0 count to Tanner Murray. I got to write down the fly out to the last batter in my book. This is going to be a soggy book today.
Yes, it is.
Oh, no, I think I just tore the page. The 2-0. Swing and a miss by Murray. 2-1. There is a tear in the notebook. That stinks. 2 outs, scoreless, bottom 5, umbrella above us. Legend. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a true test of my forearm strength here, holding this umbrella in place.
We'll switch. Legend is set down 11 straight. The 2-2 to Murray. Fouled back. Murray stays alive here in the 5th. The rain has stopped. Want to set down the umbrella? Let's set it down.
Yeah.
It's stopped. We're going to be bouncing back and forth with that bad boy.
Going to emerge out from underneath the umbrella here.
Table's pretty soaked. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Legend Smith ends the 5th. He has set down 12 straight. Fantasy from Legend in this frame. Still scoreless. We're through 5. This is Red Sox baseball here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Two down here in the bottom of the 7th, and Palmer racing over. And that's the 3rd out of the inning as he squeezes it and makes the grab. We're through 7 fulls. It's still 0-0. The pitchers continue to dominate. We head to the top of the 8th inning. You're listening to Red Sox baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 8th inning. Bottom 3rd of the order for YD in this one. Andrew Eister, Jake Palmer, and Gavin Dugas is set to hit off Isaac Esqueda, on for his 2nd inning of work. Eister on the day, a couple of strikeouts. First pitch to him is just downstairs, and it's 1-0.
Hyannis gets a sweep. Harbor Hawks take it over the Bourne Braves, called after 5. They are gaining on those Bourne Braves in the bottom of that division. So rain coming our way is what that means.
Yes, he did, says home plate umpire John Torres, and it's 1-1.
So rain coming our way. This is a big takeaway there as well, I think. It's over on the inner middle part of the portion of the Cape where there are games. Cape League is played. It's coming.
Another breaking ball, and it's a good one. And it's 1-2. One and two now the count to Eister. Looking to snap out of the recent slump he's been in. Here's the 1-2. Another breaking ball, but that one just stays high. And it's 2-2.
Now, if I'm Eister, I might be looking off speed and adjusting fastball. That's been the pitch that's been thrown to him most often here, and this one is the curve.
Here's the 2-2. And that one's once again off speed, but downstairs. Eister lays off a tough one there, and the count runs full. Full count now to Andrew Eister, leading off YD's half of the 8th. Still 0-0 our score. Payoff pitch is chopped on the ground. McCabe coming in, fielded on a hop, throw across his body, and that's the first out of the inning, 6-3. So Eister is down. He is now 0 for 3 on the day, and Jake Palmer will step in.
One of Palmer's specialties is getting on base. So we're going to, I imagine he works a lot of deep counts, can put the ball in play. He has a couple strikeouts today. We'll see how he tries to manage it, but you need base runners at this point.
Palmer first pitch swinging. That's a line drive, and that'll drop for a base hit in center field. So just as you said, Brian, Palmer does his job. That's only the 4th hit of the day for YD, but they once again have a runner on. Gavin Dugas now will step in. He's got one of the 4 hits in this one, and he will look to advance Palmer for the top half of this YD order.
And I think Dugas is a guy who's really starting to feel it at the plate. He's getting closer after a rough end of the season for him at LSU. He's starting, I think, to get healthy after an injury late in that season, and he's really starting to swing it feels like.
You hear Scott Pickler is very hands-on in BP, talking about the improvements that he's making. Said yesterday in Brewster after one of his rounds that was the best BP that he had taken all season.
He can really give the ball a ride if he squares one up. We haven't seen him unleash that power in a game yet. But every once in a while, Doogie squares one up in BP, and it can go a long way.
Want to know the count to Dugas. Palmer gets his lead off first. And they will check on him at first. Back with the dive. Still only 1-0 the count. Palmer on first. Dugas in the box. Wyatt Young on deck. Noah Campbell in the hole. 1 down here in the 8th. First pitch. Excuse me, the 1-0 pitch is downstairs, and it's 2-0.
Now, if Dugas can get on, and all of a sudden you have 2 men on before the top of your order, you got to be feeling good if you're YD.
Hard to think that Scott Pickler is going to test the arm of Daniels again after he showed it off to end the 7th and end the threat for YD. 2-0. Downstairs. The appeal to first. And they say he didn't go. The YD dugout loves that, and the count's 3-0.
Both dugouts are letting their voices be heard now. And as we get late in this ball game, Orleans adamant and Doogie did go around the whole YD dugout, voicing their pleasure. He did hold up. 3-0 now.
We'll see if the take sign is on for Dugas. I have to imagine it would be. Here's the 3-0. And it's downstairs, and that's a walk. So once again, 2 runners on for YDs. They find themselves threatening again, and Wyatt Young stepping into the box, and they'll have a quick chat on the mound.
There is action for Orleans. It's a righty up and tossing, but that's interesting that it's a righty here. You want to see the lefty against Young, a lefty against Campbell. Austin Wells due up, looming, of course. If they get to Wells, I would imagine YD might be able to push across the run.
So Wyatt Young now steps in. Before you can get to Campbell, before you can get to Wells, you got to get through the Cape Cod's leading hitter in Wyatt Young. As he now will step in, still looking to extend his 8-game hitting streak, and this would be quite the time to do so with 2 on and 1 down.
No better spot than right here.
Still 0-0 our score, just 4 hits for YD, 3 for the Firebirds in this one, and the first pitch to Wyatt Young. It's a breaking ball that misses low, and it's 1-0. Now 5 straight balls.
Feels like Wyatt Young has come up big in these spots. I think he's got the green light here until it gets to 3-0. He knows what he's swinging at. He's seen it as well as anybody. He's already had 1 hit taken away with a nice catch earlier in this one.
1-0 pitch. Breaking ball that catches the outside corner. Wyatt Young nods in agreement in the left-hander's batter's box. It's 1-1.
That's a great pitch. And Sketa just was able to put it in his spot right there with the breaking ball. That's a good pitch. Wyatt Young knows it. Not much he can do with it. So just kind of have to tip your cap and go back to work here 1-1.
Palmer on second, Dugas on first. The 1-1 is on the outer half, and Wyatt Young takes. It's a called strike 2. Crucial at-bats here for the Red Sox. Infield at double play depth. Tanner Murray playing even with the grass at third. Britton set up just behind Dugas at first base. Now backs off. Right center field is wide open for Wyatt Young. They're playing him to go the other way. He grounds one through the right side, and that's a base hit. Palmer is being waved in. Here's the throw from Daniels. It is well up the line, and that's 1-0 Red Sox. Wyatt Young on the back end will advance to second, and that throw goes into center field, and it's 2-0 Red Sox. Wyatt Young, and that ball gets away, and Wyatt Young's all the way to third. An absolutely disastrous defensive sequence for Orleans, and just like that, it is 2-0 Red Sox.
Wyatt Young does it again. All Wyatt Young does is come up clutch in these big-time situations. This time he drives in a whole amount of errors, throwing air by Daniel, throwing air by the pitcher, throwing air by the center fielder. I think you could argue that there should be 3 errors on that play. I think it's probably just going to be 2, but YD takes a 2-0 lead. That is going to be a 3-error play on Orleans potentially. And Young's on third. Just going to be 2 errors for now, as Young only advanced 2 bases on the wild throws. So 2 runs come across. Now a visit to the mound. Looks like we've got a pitching change. But Wyatt Young does it again. Unbelievable. He just comes up clutch. Now a 9-game hitting streak.
The Cape League's leading hitter comes through in a clutch situation. Combine that with a cacophony of defensive mistakes from Orleans, and suddenly the Red Sox have a 2-0 lead in this one, and a new arm is coming in. We will tell you all about him on the other side of this break. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. So after a myriad of defensive miscues, the Red Sox suddenly find themselves up 2-0 and still threatening as Wyatt Young waits 90 feet away, a big-time insurance run, and Noah Campbell will flip over to the left side as he gets set to face the new arm for Orleans. In this one, it's the righty at a Tulane, Connor Pellerin. Interesting decision to go with the righty to switch Noah Campbell back to his better side. Infield is in as they look to cut down Wyatt Young, trying to advance, and the first pitch to Campbell is wide at 94. It's 1-0.
Campbell from his probably stronger side. He can hit well from both sides, but more power definitely from that left side that we've seen up here on the Cape. Good opportunity for some insurance with Campbell, Wells, and King all due up here.
1-0. Fastball once again in there at 94, and Campbell fouls it straight back.
That's some heat, power on power, and we wondered why you wanted to flip around Campbell when he was struggling a bit from the right side, and you said it, just trust the arm. Is looking for a ground ball if the infield's up here for Orleans. Young on third with pretty good speed, but we'll see how aggressive he plays it.
Pellerin fires, and that one's skied left-hand side. Everyone converging, but that'll get out of play. And in the end, it's just allowed strike 2. So just to recap how the 2 runs came in for YD, it was a base hit through the right side for Wyatt Young. It was an errant throw from Daniels that allowed both Palmer and Dugas to score. Wyatt Young then advancing on the back end of the play, was allowed to not only advance to second, but then to third on the errant throw from Escada as he sailed one into center field, and that's where we currently stand with Noah Campbell up at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was a very solid game for both sides defensively until that moment, and now suddenly 3 errors have cost Orleans as Campbell smokes one off the left-hand side and into the trees. The count remains 1-2. Big-time insurance run waits 90 feet away as Wyatt Young takes his lead off third. Austin Wells waits on deck right in front of our table. Pellerin comes set, now delivers. Campbell smokes one into the netting just above the YD bullpen. This time at 95. Pellerin's sitting in the mid-90s, and it's still 1-2.
That foul ball woke up about half the dugout. Just sends them crashing down below the screen over there.
Got to figure with the likes of Campbell and Wells and King waiting in the hole with this sort of fastball velocity that going to supply the power. Off-speed pitch. Torres says, yes, Campbell did. No appeal necessary, and he's down swinging for the second out of the inning.
It's the first. You were just talking about the gas with the fastball. There's the breaking ball. Perfect time for Pellerin to break it out. Now Wells looking to end his hitless day at the plate. Still the chance to drive in Young.
So the RBI opportunity falls to the Cape Cod Baseball League's leading RBI man in Austin Wells here with 2 down. Now look at a first pitch fastball called strike 0-1.
This is a fun matchup. 94 from Pellerin Wells. He can catch up with it. He's one of the few guys that can catch up with just about anybody, I think. And he's going to have a short, compact approach, not try to do too much here.
The 0-1 to Wells. That one smoked into left center field. Chasing everyone back. It's over the left fielder, Max Troiani's head, and that's an RBI double for Austin Wells as he scoots into second base, and that's a big-time insurance run. It is 3-0 Red Sox.
That swing is poetry from Austin Wells. That is so pretty. Gets the fastball, just drops the barrel to it, knowing he's going the other way, and that ball was crushed. If he gets any air under that, that's up on the road beyond left field there. Instead, it barely gets 10 feet off the ground and just lined one-hopping the wall for an easy double, and now it's a 3-0 Red Sox lead.
Troiani started back but had no chance as that ball was absolutely rocketed out to left center field. It one-hopped the wall right in front of the Red Sox bullpen and allowing Wyatt Young to score easily to make it 3-0. Still an opportunity for the Red Sox as they look to continue to pad this lead, and Riley King now steps in, looks at a fastball low for a ball 1-0. Riley King was the one that had the most success here in the early parts of this game for YD, a couple of hits so far. And another big-time insurance run in Austin Wells on second base. Pellerin now delivers. Breaking ball at the top of the zone. It's called strike, 1-1.
It's more of a slider from Pellerin, I think. At least more lateral movement, it appeared, to Riley King.
So Cape League leading 19th RBI for Austin Wells as he further extends his lead, and it's 2-1 to Riley King. Riley King pinmills the bat a couple times, digs the back foot in, and now comes set, ready to face the 94 of Pellerin. The 2-1. And it was an off-speed pitch at 79. And it's now even at 2-2. And that is tough to face when you're sitting preparing yourself for 94, 95, and then Pellerin drops 79 in there off speed.
Yeah, not a whole lot you can do except similar to Wells' approach. Just try to get the barrel to it through the baseball the other way.
2-2 the count now. Here's the pitch. Another breaking ball cut on and missed by Riley King, and that'll end the inning. The Red Sox, though, thanks to some defensive miscues from the Firebirds, take the lead at 3-0. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 8th inning, and all of a sudden, after a pair of errors and a few timely hits from the YD offense, they're up 3-0 here against the Orleans Firebirds. Andre Sims, Brian McLaughlin with you, as we already saw one of the newly activated arms for YD in this one in Oscar Carvajal. And now we see the other recently activated pitcher as Gordon Ingebrigtsen now steps in. The Submariner delivers the first pitch, and it's a swinging strike, and it's 0-1.
This isn't interesting. We expected that these guys would be used coming in, but I don't think Pick expected to get 5 from Legend Smith on the mound. Carvajal looked really solid in his 2. Now we'll see if Ingebrigtsen ends up closing it out.
The 0-1 pitch misses inside, and it's 1-1. And Brian, he said pregame that this was probably going to be a staff game, and I'm sure he was not at all expecting to get 5 innings, like you said, out of Smith, and that certainly saves a bullpen that's been throwing a lot of innings lately. 1-1. The Submarine delivery dances outside, and it's 2-1. Ingebrigtsen comes set. Now delivers. That one all the way to the backstop past Austin Wells, and it's 3-1. Ingebrigtsen, one of a few YD players from UC Irvine. Here's the 3-1. That one misses upstairs, and it's a leadoff walk.
There's a little bit of life now for the Firebirds. That first out after you get a big inning offensively is an important one. And a shutdown inning is always so important for just the morale, momentum of a game. If Orleans can even get one back here, that keeps them in it mentally. Meanwhile, if Ingebrigtsen can work a scoreless frame here in the 8th, I think that would really put away the Firebirds.
Cautious moments here for YD. Momentum is everything in baseball, and here's the first pitch. That one is all the way behind Tanner Murray, and now YD's out of the double play as McCabe moves up 90 feet to second on the wild pitch.
It's a little surprising from Ingebrigtsen that he missed by so much. A guy who really has had good numbers, a returner from last year's squad with YD, and really is on a temp contract at the moment for the Red Sox, but 13 starts this last spring in school ball, a 3.41 ERA. Knows what he's doing out there with the Submarine, and it's kind of shocking to see one get away from him so badly.
So now McCabe is on second base. That one is roped, and that's a base hit into left field. They're going to hold McCabe, and the throw comes into Riley King, and it's runners on the corners and nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th.
Wouldn't be shocked here if the YD bullpen gets up in a hurry. My mind goes to Taylor Dollard here, Andre. You know, he's been the main guy. Pick quickly headed out to the mound. You wonder if he's seen enough already from Ingebrigtsen.
This game hangs in the balance with 2 on and nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th, and this is certainly not the response that Pick wanted from his pitching staff after an absolute gem through 7. Quick conversation. Pick's on the mound. Hasn't made any indication of going to the bullpen yet. Probably just talking things over, settling down his pitcher.
It is Dollard throwing. See if they go to him.
Might be, yep. And Pick now points to the pen. Ingebrigtsen will just face 2 batters, allows them both to reach. And Pick has seen enough as he wants this game shut down, and he will go to his best arm to do it. Taylor Dollard coming in out of the pen. We'll be right back as he gets his warm-up tosses. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Tell how much Scott Pickler values a win in this one, especially with the rain beginning to fall once again here in Orleans. He goes to his best arm out of the pen. Taylor Dollard steps in. First pitch from his right arm is a ball. 1-0. Runners on the corner here. McCabe on first. Tanner Murray on second. Or excuse me, on McCabe on third, Murray on first. And it's now 2-0. Shea Whitcomb in the box had a bunt single in his last one. Rain beginning to pick up once again. Still nobody out here in this inning. The runner on third doesn't mean as much. 2-0's chopped foul, and it's 2-1.
Dollard hasn't gone to the breaking ball yet. 2-1. That was the 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Going to be right around 90 with it. Rain's starting to come down pretty steady now here at Eldridge Park.
Need to get through this inning for the 3 runs to count. And if you're YD, you can live with 1 runner coming across if you can also get 2 outs. Infield at double play depth. Here's the 2-1, and there's the breaking ball from Dollard, and it's 2-2.
That's the breaking ball from Dollard. Steady rain coming down for sure, so we'll see if that affects Dollard. I don't know if he's pitched under these conditions to this point, but the curveball looked like it was spinning right there out of the hands.
2-2 the count. Shea Whitcomb stands in the box. Here's the pitch. Foul tipped into the glove of Austin Wells, and that's a big first out of the inning for Taylor Dollard.
The bullpen just let loose a roar. You could hear it all the way out from left field. The dugout liked it as well. But this bullpen knows what they've got in Taylor Dollard. That time it was the fastball, just pinpoint on the inside part of the plate. So tough to hit. And now a double play, you're out of the ball game. Dollard would love to roll one up, but he's a strikeout guy. He's got 15 Ks now in his career for the Red Sox.
Rob Emery is a guy who in this game is already hit into a double play, went 1-6-3 in his last at-bat. Dollard comes set at the belt, takes a deep breath, now delivers. The first pitch, waved at and missed, and it's 0-1.
That was almost a slider type from Dollard. It didn't have as much up to down break, more side to side. Threw it a little harder as well at 81 miles an hour. So that's an even different kind of twist that we've seen from him.
Put it on a different plane, changing the eye level of Emery. That one came about, say, 10-4, not so much 12-6. That's a breaking ball that doesn't quite break, and it buzzes the chin of Rob Emery, and it's 1-1. One and 1 the count. 3-0 our score. YD with 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Orleans, no runs, 4 hits, and of course the 3 very costly errors in this one, 2 of which coming on the play that allowed the first 2 runs of the game to score. 1-1. Ball in the dirt, smothered by Austin Wells, and it's 2-1.
It's a good block by Wells, more so than anything to keep the double play in order and keep that runner at first base. And that's, again, that runner on third is not that important in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, you want to keep the 3-run lead, but the runs that matter are at the plate and at first base at the moment. That's who you're trying to get.
2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Just a bit high. Emery checks his swing, and it's 3-1.
Now, we've seen the confidence from Dollard with the curveball before. You wonder if he tries to spin one in here, even with the 3-1 count. A guy who has such great command hasn't walked a man yet as a Red Sox.
Curveball is his best pitch. It's his put-away pitch, and it's also the pitch he goes to oftentimes, Brian, like you said, when he needs a strike. Needs one here, 3-1. Here's the pitch. It was a fastball, and that'll tail foul. Samuelson giving it a long look, a mighty effort, and he will go careening towards the hill in the first row of fans down there up the first base line, and it's now a full count.
Yep. Samuelson, no, they will sacrifice the out for a run there. The runner would have tagged up and scored on third if he were able to run it down. That would have been a great catch for the second out of the inning, but just can't get there in time, and it was right around the border to being out of play.
That's twice now we've seen Samuelson go absolutely all out for a foul ball. Missed one sliding into the netting up there, and now almost careening into some fans. Payoff pitch now from Dollard set to be delivered. Here it comes. Swing and a miss on a fastball, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Taylor Dollard, and there's 2 down in the inning.
He is so good out there. That was the fastball knee high. Just continues to attack hitters with that fastball. He's a legit arm at the back end of the bullpen. Sure feels like he's the go-to guy. Pick went to him, and he's coming through so far here in the 8th.
The man out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo coming through for Scott Pickler once again in the back end of the bullpen. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts there, 2 down in the inning, still 2 runners on.
Now a contact guy at the plate in Hurtubise. Not easy to strike out.
Top of the order now is Hurtubise, and Dollard will step off. Rain is once again kind of subsided. Still a light sprinkle, but not as bad as it was just a few minutes ago. As we have been in and out of underneath the umbrella for the last few innings. First pitch to Hurtubise. It's a pitch out, the back pick. Dangerous play there as if the ball sails. Could be trouble, but good catch there from Riley King.
Riley King turned goalie down the third baseline on that play, just trapping it against the ground. Made a good stop on, not a great throw from Wells. Dollard trusts his command enough. They're okay going to the pitch out there. They've used that often to get the third out of frames before.
First pitch, the 1-0 pitch to Hurtubise is in there for a called strike. 80 miles an hour on the off speed. It's 1-1.
That's a pitcher you play. You trust your guy behind the plate, Austin Wells, and you trust Riley King. If you feel like you have him leaning down there at third, I don't hate the play from YD. Go ahead and try to get out of it.
The pickoff play has been something that YD has used effectively defensively all season. As the 1-1 is that curveball once again spun in there for a called strike 2.
Bet he buries the curveball here. Gonna end it right at the bottom of right around the feet of Hurtubise.
We've seen Dollard all this season be able to locate the curveball wherever he wants, inside, outside, in the dirt if he needs it. Runners on the corners here, 1-2 count. Jacob Hurtubise, 1 for 3 on the day. Here's the pitch. Foul ball and the fastball into the glove of Austin Wells. Taylor Dollard comes in and shoves. 2 on, nobody out, strikes out the side. All 3 batters he faces. It is still 3-0 Red Sox. We head to the top of the 9th. Here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 9th inning here at Eldridge Park. Whitey leads by a score of 3-0. Andre Sims, Brian McLaughlin with you. Brad Beasley will step in and lead things off for the Red Sox in their final frame as they take on the new arm for Orleans. In this one, it's Carter Lohman out of Louisville.
Guy who the numbers pop off the page as not being that great.
That's 2-0 now, the count to Beasley.
13.50 ERA, but he's only given up runs in one of his 3 appearances, only gone 2/3 in both the appearances.
That one at the feet of Beasley, and it skips back to the backstop, and it's 3-0.
And on a night where the Orleans bullpen was so good, we saw some of their best arms, Eater, Esqueda, Pellerin out of the bullpen. It just couldn't quite keep Whitey from breaking through.
3-0 pitch is in there for a called strike, 3-1.
This feels like a test for a guy who has bounced up and down. Only 3 earned runs on the season.
So Beasley will draw the leadoff walk after taking ball 4, and now Tate Samuelson will step up with the runner on and nobody down.
Samuelson, a guy with a couple of flyouts, and Lohman, the biggest issue in his 2 total innings of work, he's walked 5, and that's not great. Now 6 over that span here as he walks the leadoff man today.
Out of the stretch now, first pitch to Samuelson is a called strike, and it's 0-1. On deck waits Andrew Eister.
And now you wonder for YD, what does the lead need to be to see a different arm out of the bullpen aside from Taylor Dollard? What feels safe? Or do you send Dollard back out for a second inning of work?
Dollard has gone multiple innings for YD this season, so he is capable of getting more than 3 outs.
No question, but if YD tacks on 2 or 3 runs here, you don't want to overuse him when then he could potentially be available for another inning tomorrow. You could potentially play that game. But the question is, when do you feel comfortable with that? He also didn't throw that many pitches in the first inning, so if he works a quick 2 innings of work, that's different.
0-2 misses downstairs, and it's 1-2. 3-0 lead is comfortable but precarious in a game that's been a pitcher's duel, in a game that where everything is shown that things can change on a dime. 1-2, that one's ripped into the right field side, and that is a base hit for Tate Samuelson. The Red Sox have their first 2 runners on of the inning.
And I just went back and counted. It was a 15-pitch inning for Dollard in his inning of work out of the pen. So if he throws another 15 plus, you're looking at definitely not available for at least a day or so if he's throwing more than 30 pitches. If he can keep it under 30, then maybe there's the opportunity for an inning tomorrow.
Andrew Eister now will step in. 2 runners on, still nobody out.
I think Eister, this is a good opportunity to really get a hold of one. If he sees a fastball, wind has died down, would love a big hit for Eister for insurance.
First pitch to him is an 87, and it's outside, and it's 1-0.
Of course, the question is if Eister gets a strike. If I'm him, though, he's been cold at the plate, 0 for 3 again today. I'm just trying to barrel one up, and he's got so much juice. I think there's a real chance he could put it right into him.
We've seen the power on display for Eister. He looks at another pitch outside, and it's 2-0.
But I love the approach right now. He can't be over anxious. Why you can't be swinging for that big one as there's going to be a visit out to the mound. Orleans is still within range here, so that it's Lohman struggling to start this frame, and I think they might already make a change. Kelly Nicholson's making the move to the pen.
So Lohman's night doesn't last long, doesn't retire any of the 2 batters he faces, and leaves after a 2-0 count to Andrew Eister. So he will face a new arm. We will tell you all about that new arm on the other side of this break. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. So Eister will step back in ahead in the count 2-0. Instead of facing a lefty, he will now face the righty. The new pitcher on the mound, Jeffrey Pramel, out of Southern New Hampshire University. Powerhouse Division II program, as we have now learned.
Long and lanky, 6'5", 180 out there on the mound.
Eister squares to bunt, and that one's in there for a called strike, 2-1.
Fastball, 88 right there. Looks like it's got some action on it. He kind of is a three-quarter arm slot almost, and a lot of these guys, almost like Chris Sale, lanky, that odd arm slot, you're going to get a lot of tail to it just from the right side here in Pramel.
2 on. Still nobody out here in the top of the ninth. YD up 3-0. Both runners are going. It's a hit and run. Eister swings through it, but Beasley's in there safely anyway. It's a double steal for the Red Sox. And it's 2-2 with runners on second and third. They're out of the double play.
How about Brad Beasley? That was quick. He is moving there. Got a great jump on Pramel, moving between second and third. And that draws the infield up here for Orleans, putting the pressure on the defense. Now Eister's got to continue to put that pressure, put the ball in play.
As you said, Beasley got an excellent jump from second base. A good secondary lead allowed him to get in ahead of the throw from Emery. 2-2 to Eister. And he waves underneath the breaking ball. And that's the first out of the inning. And that one gets away from Pramel on the mound. Emery will score. Both runners will score. Beasley and Samuelson come around. It's a two-base error as Emery threw it away. And it is 5-0 Red Sox.
Samuelson and Beasley both come across, and they say Samuelson missed third base. They just appealed to third. Base. Samuelson, they say, missed third base. So Beasley's run is going to count, but the second run comes off the board, so it's only 4-0 and now 2 outs. Samuelson can't believe it. He has said, no way. But all of a sudden, 2 outs and 4-0, and the bases are clear for Palmer.
So after another just eventful situation defensively,
this is a weird night.
Very weird night here at Orleans. It's just atypical, the matchup between the Firebirds and the Red Sox. So it's 4-0, 2 outs, as my partner said. Jake Palmer in the box. And he absolutely ropes one to left field, and that'll get down for extra bases. Palmer's on his way to second. He's on his horse. He'll be in there standing. And it's a 2-out double for Jake Palmer.
Good for Jake Palmer. Second extra base hit of the season for him. And he got a good piece of that one. Aggressive in the count. I like when Jake's aggressive. He's attacking fastballs. He can really square it up and get on base there. I know he likes to see a lot of pitches and is an on-base guy who draws his share of walks, but I think he can really drive the ball when he's aggressive early.
Bottom of the order now, Gavin Dugas steps in with Palmer on second base. And he's running, got an excellent secondary lead, and he's in there easily.
Pramel just wasn't paying attention to him out there on the mound. It just going to take third. There's not a whole lot of reason for that aside from they're giving it to me. Now he's for sure going to score on a single.
It was a swinging strike from Dugas. As the 0-1 is pumped in at 90 miles an hour off the outer edge, and it's 1-1.
I don't think Orleans was holding him there either. They were essentially giving him third base, just letting him take it.
Dugas fouls it off and straight back to the screen. It's interesting to note that on that errant throw from Emery back to the mound, haven't scored that an error officially.
Yeah, that's an error.
Now it has just come through on our game live here. The 1-2 is off the inner edge, and it's even at 2-2.
We were all kind of scratching our heads about that initially. It's not a stolen base by Beasley. And then Samuelson technically moves up to third on the air before getting called out on the appeal.
2-2 the count here. Palmer on third. And time is called. It's worth noting also on that play, you're always taught in Little League to always back up the throw back to the pitcher, just in case something like that happens. There was absolutely none of that from the Firebirds defense. So that one spins over the head of Dugas, and the count runs full.
Of course, now Eddie McCabe was backing up that play. Lesson learned, but too late now for the Firebirds. You know who does it often for YD? Wyatt Young always backs up pitcher. I see him do that every game.
Full count. That one's upstairs, and Dugas reaches with the walk, and Wyatt Young up once again with an RBI spot with 2 down.
Good day for Doogie at the plate. He's got to hit a couple of walks now, and he's aboard once again. That's a good step forward for him, getting on base like this. He's seeing the ball well at the plate, Andre, and I think that's a good sign for him.
And we talked about this a couple days ago, Brian. I believe it was when we were at Brewster. Is what kind of production, or maybe it was Hyannis, what kind of production can Scott Pickler get from the bottom half of this order? It's been something that's kind of plagued this YD team, a little bit of an Achilles heel.
But when they do, they score big-time games and big-time offensive numbers.
And so now another game here with bottom third of the order producing well, with Palmer and Dugas playing excellent games thus far.
Yeah, Palmer with a couple hits and a run. Dugas also has a run. So those two have sparked the rally in the 8th inning, especially those two with a hit and a walk that got the 3-run 8th going.
1-0 the count here to Wyatt Young. The Red Sox have pushed one across, as that one's upstairs to Young, and it's 2-0.
Young's average, 1 for 4, is dipped today to 379. So
Oh,
he needs
no.
a hit here to keep that average back up where it should be.
Cape Cod Baseball League's leading hitter, Wyatt Young, extended his hit streak to 9 games in his last at-bat.
That's important as well. And that was an RBI hit that at the time gave the Red Sox the lead, the biggest play of this game.
2-0, chopped, and that's going to be foul off the bat of Wyatt Young, and it's 2-1. 2 down here in the inning for Orleans. They now find themselves down 4. And Brian, if you're Scott Pickler, are you sending Taylor Dollard back out for the bottom of the 9th?
Depends what Young does here. I'll play that game. If Young gets an RBI hit here and it's 5, I lean no, but we shall see. I wouldn't blame him if he does.
Doesn't look as though there's action in the YD pen right now, so all signs as of right now point to Dollard. Young skies it back into the netting, and it's still 2-2.
Of course, I would not blame Pick at all if he elects to keep Dollard out there. Better safe than sorry. Better leave your guy out there and be sure of holding that lead.
Two the count, 2 runners on. Deuces wild here in the bottom of the 9th. Wyatt Young in the box. Awaits the 2-2 pitch. Here it comes. And that one comes in and got him on the leg. And now the bases are loaded for Noah Campbell.
Hitting from the left side as well. Campbell looking for his first hit of the day. 0 for 3. He did walk in the 6th. But Noah's going to get a chance here against a righty that I think he could potentially square up.
So Campbell now will step in with an opportunity to really put this game out of reach for YD. And should he reach the dangerous Austin Wells, waits on deck, already extended his Cape Cod leading RBI total to 19 in his last at-bat.
Visit out there on the mound now to discuss Campbell. Looking at some of the other Cape Cod scores from around the league here, Andre. Chatham beats Cotuit 5-3, so they will stay in first place. If YD closes this out, Chatham will still be a game above YD. That one only took 7 innings. That was in Lowell Park.
All 4 other games here on Cape Cod today shortened either due to weather or darkness.
Only other full game, but it was a 7-inning game because it was a doubleheader, was Bourne and Hyannis. First of that game today.
First pitch to Campbell, upstairs for a ball, 1-0.
So we had a couple, Harwich and Wareham were in doubleheader. Harwich actually swept the first place Gateman. So Cotuit, an opportunity, but then Cotuit lost to Chatham. So right now the East beating up on the West.
That one's roped off the bat of Campbell, but it hooks foul. And it's 1-1.
Noah knows he just missed extra bases. As soon as it left his bat, he hopped up and down, just letting that energy out as if, almost got another big hit.
So this is the only game to go the full 9 today.
Falmouth and Brewster were close, but Falmouth 4-3 win in 8.
And it's 2-1 now to Campbell as that one also misses upstairs. We successfully navigated around the brief rainstorm.
assuming no more's on the way.
This is true. 2-1 the count now to Campbell. Here's the offering. That one also chopped foul to the right side, and it's now 2-2. Bases loaded here for YD, up 4 and looking for more. YD with 4 runs on 8 hits, no errors. Orleans now with no runs, 4 hits, 4 errors.
Those 4 errors really hurt, really hurt.
That one's chopped on the ground. Over to first, and that'll end the inning. It was a hard 90 from Campbell. He made it close on the ground ball to second base, but 1 run comes in, and it's now 4-0. Red Sox. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. It will be Dollard. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 9th inning here at Eldridge Park. Andre Sims, Brian McLaughlin here to bring you all the action on this fine Saturday evening. 2, 3, and 4 set to take on Taylor Dollard in the bottom of the 9th as Danny Soretti steps in, checks his swing. Did he go? The third base umpire says no. It's Federico De Jesus down there at third. Want to know the count. Dollard out of the stretch. Pumps in a fastball, 88, and it's 1-1.
All 4 runs for the Red Sox coming in the last 2 innings, 3 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th.
Dollard now once again working quickly. Working out of the middle of the rubber. Set at the belt. Delivers the 1-1. That one's just outside, and it's 2-1.
That's the 80 mile an hour. I think that might be the changeup from Dollard, or at least some type of off speed that he's trying to work on to become the 3rd pitch of the arsenal to go with the big curveball and the pretty good fastball.
Soretti awaits the 2-1. It's on its way from Dollard. It's a fastball in there for a called strike, and that evens the count 2-2.
I don't remember the last time he missed the spot with the fastball. At this point, it feels like it's just every time right where Austin Wells or Noah Cardenas set up. And tonight, Wells didn't have to move the glove.
2-2 the count. Dollard once again set. Feels like a time for the hook. Here it comes. It's the off-speed pitch, and it looked like once again that sort of change-up slurve action there, and it's another strikeout for Taylor Dollard. 4 batters, 4 strikeouts.
He's just absurd right now. He is just absurd out there on the mound. It is not fair. It is something different out there on the mound for Taylor Dollard at the moment. Now, with these 4 Ks tonight, 18 strikeouts, no walks in 9+.
Gotta love a casual 18-0 strikeout to walk ratio.
That'll play.
First pitch downstairs. And it's a pinch hitter for Max Troiani. And it's Zach Kokoska. Big swing and a miss on the fastball, and it's 1-1.
Dollard has gone now over an inning and Of his 6 starts, 6 appearances, 4 times. He has just absolutely, he's struck out at least 1 in every time out on the mound. He has struck out 3 or more now in 4 of the 6 times.
The 1-1 on its way. That one just off the inner edge, and it's 2-1. And the thing about Dollar that's most impressive to me, Brian, is on those times where he does fall behind a hitter like he is right now, there's still no fear. He's relentless in what he wants to throw it. He's made up his mind. He's going to throw his pitch in his spot regardless of the count.
And if he's throwing that changeup for swinging the stuff, that just takes it to a whole nother level potentially.
2-1. That one's a fastball on the inner edge, and it evens the count at 2-2.
Now, does he go the curveball? I wouldn't be shocked if he tries the changeup. Keep trying to develop that pitch.
Not overpowering stuff. Sits at 88 to 89, touches 90 on occasion.
Similar to Trent Denholm, though, where he never misses the spot.
2-2. That one's broken bat chopper. It's going to be a tough play for Samuelson. He'll flip it with the glove to Dollard. That's the second out of the inning.
I wanted to see Dollard strike out everybody. He's yet to have an appearance where he gets every batter via the strikeout. Was hoping that would be tonight. Started 4 for 4. 3 of those 4 with men on the corners. Came in with men on first and third last inning. Nobody out, and he strikes out the side. Not even the fact of who he's doing it against in a pretty good Orleans lineup. Not even in that situation. It's hard enough to strike out the side 3 straight men, but to do it under those circumstances, icer in those veins.
Certainly the best arm in high leverage situations for YD. Scott Pickler trusts him in these late game situations to get the crucial outs that he needs, probably more than anyone else on the staff.
Definitely has emerged. He's emerged as the closer tonight.
Dollard, the man out of Cal Poly, showing that you don't have to be an arm from a Power 5 school. You don't have to be sitting in the upper 90s to be effective and to be effective late in ball games. 0-1 pitch to Zach Daniels is high, and it's 1-1. And that really is the best thing about Cape Cod, Brian, is that you get guys every summer who may not be from those atypical powerhouse programs that you think of in collegiate baseball, the LSUs, the Vanderbilts, things like that come in and just shove. And the 1-1's in there for a called strike 1 and 2.
It's the beauty of baseball, really. Wherever you are, they're going to find you, whether that's D3, JUCO, D2, D1, non-Power 5, or LSU or UCLA. They're going to find you if you're good. It doesn't always matter where you go, but wherever you go, if you develop and are a good player, they're going to find you.
Here's the 1-2. It was the breaking ball just fouled.
It's like the first time we've seen that. So I'm good on Daniels to get a piece of that pitch.
Yeah.
That's not an easy feat to just get a piece of that hook, to sit on it and find a piece when he really hasn't even unleashed it tonight.
Only seen it a couple times in the 8th inning. Used it once to get a strikeout. Wouldn't be surprised, though, Brian, if he goes back to it a second time here.
I wouldn't either. But, I mean, at this point, I'm on my heels with what he's throwing. I haven't guessed right once tonight, it feels like.
1-2, the count to Daniels. Dollard looking to put it away, and it was a fastball off the outer edge. 91 on that one.
Rearing back a little. Rearing back. He senses that he knows that he just needs 1 strike.
Now the count goes to 2-2. Dollard looking to close it with the 6-out save. Two and 2. That was the curveball. That's going to drag foul and out of play.
Daniels again battles with the curveball. Just stays alive. A guy who strikes out a lot in Daniels came in today with just under 20 Ks on the season. It's a good job for him to stay alive and battle here with 2 strikes.
Daniels making Dollard work for it as he looks to record his 6th and final out of the day. Looking for out number 27 to preserve the shutout. Here's the 2-2. On the ground, Riley King to his left will make the play. The throw over to first is in time. Taylor Dollard comes in, faces 6, retires them all en route to the win. We got pitchers BP tomorrow, folks. It's a shutout for the YD pitching staff. They take it by a final score of 4-0. And in a game where it was just weird, we had the rain coming through. Both pitching staffs were absolutely dealing. And then, Brian, the wheels fell off for Orleans defensively.
They really did. YD put some pressure on him by putting the ball in play. And after such a great start, for Orleans from Jared Schuster. It's a shame that things turned the way they did for them defensively tonight. It was just a weird game in that sense, but a couple of costly errors. Wyatt Young, the big play of the game offensively, he got the hit that plated the go-ahead run. That's an earned run and an RBI. And from there, things got kind of chaotic for YD. But Wyatt Young, the big knock of the night for sure. And just another miraculous start from Legend and the rest of this staff as Legend Smith gets the spot start, goes 5 innings on the mound. And then from there, just great stuff from the rest of this group. From Carvajal in his first appearance, 2 scoreless. Ingebrigtsen struggled a bit, but then you go to Dollard and talk about slamming the door. I don't know if there's another closer in this league right now with just the type of feel Dollard has on the mound. There are going to be guys with better stuff, no questions asked, but Dollard is as good as it gets on the mound. And Orleans, now they've lost 4 straight, their first losing streak of the season. YD gets back on the right side after the loss yesterday. But against the combination of YD and Chatham, Orleans is 0-5 now in the season, Andre. They have just struggled against the top of the cream of the crop right now in the East are those 3 teams, and Orleans has struggled against them.
And I really want to make sure, Brian, that Legend Smith gets his
No
due.
question.
And this is a
Yep.
guy
Yep.
who struggled mightily against Chatham in his last outing. And to come in and to get the spot start, he was excellent. Just absolutely the best we have seen him. What was working so well for him tonight?
He was in command. He was working quickly. He was creating soft contact. It never felt like he was on his heels. He was working downhill at these Orleans batters, right? It never felt like things were out of his grasp out there. And that's the first time we've really seen that from him. And from the get-go, it was like that. Ever since he just was able to, from the beginning, he got the double play in the first inning and settled down from there. And that was a smooth turn up the middle for YD. And I think that really from that point on, he was shut down out there on the mound, ended up finishing his night after that double play. Nobody else reached for Orleans. He retired 12 straight to end his night on the mound, and that's all you can say.
Yeah, it was an absolutely incredible outing for Legend Smith on the mound. And in the end, and this is something that YD has done so well over the course of this season, they capitalize on the mistakes of their opposition. They make them pay when they are given the opportunities. They take their chances, and this time it ultimately gave them enough to come out with the 4-0 win. So the win will bring YD to 13-7-1 on the season. And with the shakeups in the East, everything's still going well for YD, as you mentioned. We will be right back with you tomorrow with another edition of Red Sox Baseball, 8 of the next 10 at Red Wilson Field for YD, which will be a very welcome sight for all of these YD players. 5 o'clock start times all around. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Saturday night. For Andre Sims, I'm Brian McLaughlin. I totally said that backwards. For Brian McLaughlin, I'm Andre Sims. It's been a long night. YD wins it by a final score of 4-0. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.